Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled that you're able to join us today. We hope you're all set up and have snacks, maybe even a glass of wine ready to go, and keep you going on our adventure through Italy. My name is Caitlin. I am the marketing manager for Explore Worldwide here in North America, and I will be your host, travel companion, and new best friend for the next hour or so. Coming up, we've got a whole bunch in store for you today. I'm going to give you a short intro into who we are, what we're about, and how important it is for us to work with local communities. Then I will welcome three of my friends here who will help transport you to some of the most exciting Italian regions. They'll tell us more about their personal experiences, share some key practical information on what you can expect on your next trip to Italy and when to visit. Then we will wrap things up with a little Q&A. I'll tell you about a very exciting offer that we have for you, and we'll do a prize draw. Before we get started, though, let's go over a few things to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. You might have noticed everyone is automatically on mute, but we'd love for you to make use of the chat and Q&A features down at the bottom there. On the chat, it'd be great if you could tell us if you've been on an Explore trip before, if you've been to Italy or anywhere in Europe, really, and where you'd like to travel to next. We're very excited to hear from you. If you have any questions that you would like us to answer, please use the Q&A function. I've got a team of experts in the office who'll be answering the questions as we go, and we'll keep a few of them for the end when we'll do a live Q&A. If you miss anything or need to duck out, I will try to take it, or no, I will try not to take it too personally, I promise. But you can rest assured that we are recording this event and we'll be sharing the recording along with a summary of the most frequently asked questions. You'll get an email with a link to the video and the offer details by the end of the week. So now that you know what to expect, let's take a quick moment just to get to know each other a little bit better. Some of you will already know Explore very well, but there's some of you who might not be too familiar with us. So welcome to everyone. We've run over 350 small group tours to 100 countries around the world. We have everything from classic discovery and food and drink trips to walking, hiking, and biking tours. We also have a brand new collection, Explore Upgraded, which we are very excited about. It's everything that our travelers love about an Explore trip, with upgraded stays to offer a little extra comfort after a long day of exploring. Why do people love to travel with us? On our trips, you'll see a mix of famous sites and hidden gems that others might miss or not even know about. As travelers, we really want to experience a place and not just observe it. So we'll take you closer to the country, its culture and people, often in unscripted, spontaneous, impossible to replicate ways. Our fabulous tour leaders use their expert insider knowledge and local connections to make the most of unexpected opportunities. You might be invited to watch the sunrise from a lighthouse or join a family Diwali celebration. You might meet your leader's family. Who knows? The possibilities are endless, and it makes for a special experience. The leader will be on hand to make sure your trip goes smoothly, and they will take care of all of the logistics. You can sit back, relax, and just enjoy the adventure. Our average group size is 11, which is just big enough to meet like-minded people, but small enough that you can really get to the heart of a destination. And sustainability is always at the heart of everything that we do, and we only work with partners who have the same values as we have. We've recently received a Platinum Trusted Service Award from FIFO because our customer reviews are 4.5 out of 5, which is something that we are very proud of. Another thing that we are super proud of is we just became a B Corp certified business, and that warms my heart so much. And now I'm just going to introduce the team real quick. So you know her, you love her. It's me. I'm Caitlin. And I'm delighted to be joined by three of my incredible friends from around the world today. We've got Katie, Fabrizia, and Hannah. They will be presenting and are part of the team that will be answering the questions you ask online, and we'll bring them back for the Q&A at the end of this event. But for now, I'd like to hand things over to Hannah, who will tell you a bit more about how we work with the local communities when visiting different places. Over to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. So I'm Hannah. I'm Explore's sustainability specialist, and I'm going to chat to you about Sicily later on. But for now, I wanted to share something that runs through all of Explore's adventures. The chances are that when you travel, some of your strongest memories are linked to the people you meet along the way, and the connections that you made on that trip takes you right back there. It's the locals that share their food, their culture, their landscapes with us that make those trips special. And that's what Explore trips are all about, the local, eating in local restaurants, meeting the community, tasting the local wine, beer, spirits, whatever takes your fancy. And we're really proud that our trips champion the local and we put money into the local economy. But actually, we want to do even more than that. And the Explore Foundation is how we give back that little extra to the destinations we visit. Now, the foundation is a registered charity. It's run by a board of independent trustees. And when you travel with us on an Explore tour, we make a donation on your behalf. And the money raised supports grassroots initiatives that empower people and create opportunities. So far, we've provided bikes to help women in rural Tanzania access education. We've helped keep elephants in their natural habitat in Thailand. And we've installed solar panels in India, allowing a weaving cooperative to focus on running their business rather than worrying about keeping their lights on. So, if you want to have a little look at what your holiday supports, take a look at our website, which is the explore.foundation, for a bit more detail about all the amazing things we are privileged to support. But for now, I'll hand you back to Caitlin.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. We'll be hearing more from Hannah in just a little bit, but for now, let's take a closer look at the destinations that we'll be taking you to tonight. First off, we'll be visiting the Amalfi Coast, where we're going to walk past perfect seaside towns and on ancient stairways. And of course, we're going to eat lots of food. Then we'll be heading over to Puglia, the heel of Italy, where we will learn more about their incredible architecture and, of course, the food. And finally, we're off to Sicily, the largest island in the Mediterranean, to see its wealth of history and, of course, the famous Mount Etna. Tricked you. Just kidding. We're also going to talk about food. We'll cover history, culture, and local food everywhere that we travel today, but we'll also talk about what you can expect when deciding to join one of our tours to these destinations. And now I would love to welcome Katie, who's going to take you on a hiking trip in Amalfi. Over to you, Katie.
Hello. So as Caitlin mentioned, I am here today to talk to you about our Amalfi Coast walking trip, which I was very fortunate to have experienced firsthand last October. I had visited Italy before this trip, traveling to Rome and Venice, and I appreciated those experiences. But it was really this deep dive into the Amalfi Coast that really made me fall in love with Italy. To kick things off, here's an overview of the itinerary that we travel on throughout this 8-day trip. We started in Naples Airport, where you will be greeted and transferred to the charming village of San Lazzaro, which is located in the Agerola Plateau. This village is home base as you spend the week exploring the incredible hiking trails in the region, including the bucket list walk of the gods, and enjoy the wonderful Italian hospitality of our agriturismo. On day 6, you'll have the opportunity to visit the UNESCO World Heritage Sites Pompeii and Herculaneum. The trip really does provide a full immersion into the Amalfi Coast, where you will truly get to see this picturesque and iconic town from every possible angle. Now, this is a center-based trip, which means you are staying in one accommodation for the duration, and you will be staying in the Agriturismo Luna d'Agerola. Now, for those who don't know, an agriturismo is a family-run farm stay in the Italian countryside, and these working farms welcome guests. They offer cozy accommodations, home-cooked meals, and sometimes hands-on activities like wine tasting, olive harvesting, or cooking classes. The agriturismo we use on this trip is owned and run by the Acampora family, where you will get a truly authentic farm-to-table dining experience with the option to try local organic wines and homemade limoncello and grappa. So after spending the first day getting settled into our agriturismo, we start day 2 with a private bus transfer to the start point of our hike for the day. Just as a quick aside, we do use private transfers on this trip because we want to make sure that we're not displacing the locals who are really reliant on the public bus network in the area. So this first day is all about warming up your legs for the week's hike and getting acquainted with the stunning views, and also to get acclimated to the terrain, which encompasses a lot of ascents and descents due to the dramatic vertical landscape. Our warm-up hike on this day takes you through the Ferrier Valley for some beautiful views of the Bay of Naples and Mount Vesuvius before descending back into San Lazzaro. Now, your legs might feel like jelly after the first day as you get used to the terrain, but I have to say from my experience, it's really incredible how quickly this passes and how much stronger you feel yourself getting with every single day. That evening, after a scenic hike, you'll have the option to refuel with a pasta and mozzarella making class, which is hosted by the family at our agriturismo. This is a really great opportunity to connect with other travelers in the group, and I have to say it was a lot of fun, and really hands down the freshest pasta and tastiest pasta I have ever eaten, and made with my own hands, which was very rewarding. You start the next day with a transfer to Ravello, which was my personal favorite town in the region. There's lots of really beautiful shops and cafes to explore while you're there, and you get lots of time to enjoy this town. Ravello is also home to beautiful villas, which have stunning gardens and offer spectacular views, as well as the iconic stone bust and statues that you often see depicted in photos of the Amalfi Coast. So after enjoying some time exploring Ravello and savoring the local treats and taking in the villas, you'll start the hike for the day, where you descend on stone steps into Amalfi. Now, this route offers the most stunning views of the coast. There's limestone cliffs and surrounding mountains that you get to take in during the walk. And I honestly cannot count how many times I said wow on this walk. I need to come up with better words and open a thesaurus maybe, but turning every single corner seemed to really result in a more jaw-dropping view than the last. The walk takes about 2.5 hours, and when you arrive in Amalfi, you get to enjoy the shops and cafes and the delicious lemon treats, which there is no shortage of in Amalfi. Or you can take a swim in the sea and cool down before catching the transfer back to San Lazzaro. And that evening, we offer an optional pizza making demonstration, which is hosted in town at the Hotel Risorgimento. This demonstration is provided by the family who owns the hotel, and it is delightfully entertaining. And once you complete it, you get to enjoy effectively all-you-can-eat pizza, which is so fresh and incredibly delicious. And I was so full walking away from there. So at this point, as I mentioned, you see Amalfi from every angle. And you've had the chance to see Amalfi from above and be fully immersed within it. On the next day, you get to see it from sea level, and we take the public ferry to the island of Capri, which takes approximately an hour from Amalfi and offers stunning and iconic views of Amalfi and Positano en route. Capri is only 4.5 miles or 7 kilometers long and about 1.8 miles or 3 kilometers wide. So it's really easy to explore it in a day. The island offers beautiful natural landscapes as well as a historic villa with lovely gardens surrounding it. And that's what this view here is from, that villa. It's very easy to opt out of the walk on this day if you'd prefer to take more time to explore the island on your terms and take in the abundance of shops and restaurants it has available. And after exploring the island, we take a ferry back to the mainland and transfer back to San Lazzaro, where you'll enjoy a home-cooked meal at the agriturismo in the evening. On day 5, we take our longest hike for the week, which takes approximately 6 hours, and it starts from our agriturismo. Now, the beginning of this hike is the reverse of the first walk from the trip. So you'll see some familiar sights, but from a different perspective. And you ascend the ancient limestone stairway that takes us high above San Lazzaro before getting more in depth in the Ferrier Valley. This area has a unique microclimate, which provides beautiful and relaxing scenery. So you really get that sense of forest bathing. And the surrounding trees and foliage really also provide a cool shaded areas for walking, which makes it a very comfortable location for our longest hike. Now, I personally was fascinated by the 100-year-old farm that you happen upon during the day's hike, where you get a glimpse into the local villagers' uniquely adapted way of life to the challenging landscape for a sustained way of living. And after walking our way out of the valley, we are afforded with beautiful views of the coast as you descend on the stairways, more stairs, of course, into Amalfi, where you can enjoy some free time before catching the private transfer back to San Lazzaro. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, on day 6 of the trip, we offer a free day where you will have the option to visit the UNESCO World Heritage Sites of Pompeii and Herculaneum, which are incredible cities frozen in time after being engulfed by volcanic ash from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Now, if you opt for it, we offer a round-trip transfer and guided tour. And we started in the quieter entrance to Pompeii, which was wonderful to have a more intimate experience of the site and appreciate the history without the crowds, which you will definitely encounter as you get further into the site. They've only fully uncovered 2/3 of Pompeii, and you will have the opportunity to walk through the part currently being excavated, watching archaeologists at work, which was incredible. And they've actually recently uncovered these frescoes that have the original paint colors almost fully intact. So after the guided tour, you have some free time for lunch and exploration before we head over to Herculaneum, which isn't far away. And Pompeii was incredible, but I have to say Herculaneum was such a pleasant surprise, as I admittedly didn't know much about it going into the trip, but found that it was even more well preserved with original carbonized wood, which you can see in that image on the right, and their spas, restaurants, and homes all intact. And coming from North America, where we truly have nothing comparable in terms of this preservation of history, it felt truly surreal to explore these sites and get such intimate insight into their historic way of living. Our final day of hiking starts with a transfer to Bomerano for the very iconic Walk of the Gods. We follow a high cliff path, which passes under limestone cliffs and past old farmhouses with endlessly stunning views of the coast and sneak peeks of Positano along the way. We stop for lunch in a spot with a wonderful local lemonade stand, so you can support the local economy and enjoy a refreshing treat, which fuels that final leg of the journey. We finish the Walk of the Gods with a descent into Positano down an other ancient stairway, where you'll have some free time to enjoy this beautiful town. Now, Positano is full of restaurants, cafes, souvenir shops, and it has a lovely little beach. So if you want to kick off your hiking boots and relax on the sand, that's a great option as well. I opted to swim out into the sea to cool off after the hot day's hike. And despite it being October, it was still really comfortable to swim and very, very refreshing. And I have to say, this was like the ultimate pinch me moment on the trip, because I swam out kind of as far as I could and then turned around, and seeing the stunning backdrop of the beautiful cliffside buildings of Positano cascading above me just took my breath away. And that brings us to the end of our trip. We do offer departures from March through to the end of October, and I would definitely recommend traveling in the shoulder season if you can, as you get a wonderful mix of warm days and cooler nights, and you can avoid the intense summer heat. As I've noted throughout, there's great variance in the terrain on each hike, with a lot of ascents and descents due to the natural landscapes. So I really recommend bringing walking poles for stability and proper hiking boots to protect your ankles if you're considering this trip. We also have access to clean drinking water throughout. It's offered at the Agriturismo, and throughout the hiking routes, there's actually public fountains. So you can bring your reusable water bottle and stay hydrated throughout. And if you love the idea of this itinerary, but would prefer a more traditional hotel experience, we do also offer an alternative in the region, which follows the exact same route. And it's also center-based and stays at the family-owned Risorgimento Hotel, which I referred to when talking about the pizza making demonstration that we offer. I can honestly say this was the best group trip I have ever taken. And I'm not just saying that because I work for the company. It really, truly was. And it's really an incredible option if you're looking to deep dive into this iconic region of Italy. And I will hand it over to Fabrizia, who will take you through the highlights of Puglia.
Hello everyone, my name is Fabrizia, and today I'm going to speak to you about my amazing homeland, Puglia, or better known as the heel of Italy's both. Puglia, as we say often in Italy, is kissed by the sun. And this helped the growth of our olive trees, which we are very proud of, together with our extra virgin olive oil, whitewashed villages, rich history, unique architecture, stunning coastline, and the amazing smell and sight of the Adriatic Sea. In my homeland, we say that Puglia is a state of mind, and this can be fully understood once you're there and experience the authentic and relaxed way of living. I hope the next few minutes will give you an insight and make you more curious about this part of Italy. Bari, the capital of Puglia, is a port city that has developed itself along the coastline. It is a perfect blend of its history, culture, and modern energy. If you arrive early on day one, or even a day before, you can have a first taste of Puglia. Maybe have a walk in the maze of medieval alleyways in Bari Vecchia, the old town, where you will find women shaping our local fresh pasta called orecchiette, which means small here, literally in the alley in front of their houses, like this one. I mean, this one is a dry one. It's not fresh as the one that you see at the bottom picture over there, which are delicious. You can explore the Basilica of San Nicola, where you can visit the crypt that contains the body of Saint Nick, or maybe have a walk on the Lungomare, which is the seaside promenade, while enjoying a gelato on a warm evening. My food recommendation in Bari are our delicious focaccia, which you can see on the meat picture on the right, or maybe scagliozze, which is fried polenta on the picture on the top. And of course, the king of Bari, the amazing panzerotto. You can see like the meat picture on the left. You can try the normal one, which is tomato and mozzarella, or a special one. There are different types, so you can choose the one you think you'll like the most and enjoy it with a beer, of course, on the sea. The following day, we will start our adventure. Our first stop will be Altamura. Here we will visit a traditional wood fire oven and try some of the delicious food that is always on the table back at home. Focaccia, taralli, which is a savory snack like this one. Of course, I have it here. And pizza, of course, who doesn't love pizza? Wine, and the king of bread, pane di Altamura, which literally means the bread of Altamura, the city where we will be in. This bread is made with local durum wheat, natural yeast, which is the sourdough starter, and cooked in a typical wood fire oven. It has a thick, crunchy crust and a soft interior, and it is great to be eaten warm with a local extra virgin olive oil on it. We will then visit the medieval octagonal Castel del Monte, which is a UNESCO site. This castle was built under the request of Federico II, a Holy Roman Emperor that fell in love with our land and built several castles all spread in Puglia. As if we couldn't avoid it. He loved our land and he couldn't leave it. But only Castel del Monte was his cultural center, and people used to arrive from all over the world and enjoy not only the company of the king, but the amazing view from the castle that overlooked the whole valley full of vineyards, while, of course, drinking great local wine. We will then proceed our Puglia discovery by heading to the UNESCO site of Matera, which is in the close region of Basilicata. Located on the side of a gorge, the Sassi di Matera, which is literally the stones of Matera, as they are known, are a complex of dwelling carved into the stone and cobbled narrow street that will bring you back in time when people used to live in caves. In the case of Matera, till mid-90s, when the government gave new houses to the family who were still living in there. A local guide will make us discover rock-carved churches and the caves where people used to live in, showing us how their creative engineering allowed them to collect raining water in stone-carved wells under their houses, which was ready to be used in their simple day-to-day life. Matera in Gravina, a town that can be visited this afternoon by taking an optional train, have been used even in scenes of No Time to Die, 007, and The Passion of Christ with Mel Gibson. We will stay in a unique Sassy Cave hotel for 2 nights. Each of the rooms are different sizes and layout, and some are located within the caves themselves, and other in ancient entry building attached to the caves. Depending on the size of the group, we maybe accommodate the group across 2 properties, a 5-minute walk apart, and the rooms are all en suite. There are excellent views from the hotel terrace over the surrounding cave dwellings and on the Matera Cathedral. On day 4, we will visit an agriturismo, which is a traditional country house where everything is homemade, including the different kind of cheeses like the freshly braided mozzarella that we will have a taste of. Before heading to Alberobello, we will stop at the Cantina Albea Winery and Museum to learn more about the viticulture in this area and, of course, to sample the award-winning wine that they produce, together with some taralli, our famous savory snack. When we'll arrive in Alberobello, which is also a UNESCO site, we'll take a pleasant walk through the trulli, which are houses shaped as cones that are typical of Puglia. On day 5, we have a free day to relax or to keep exploring the surrounding, like taking it a chance to visit Grotte di Castellana, which is a vast underground system of Cars Cave. A quick tip for me, you have, for the Grotte di Castellana, you have 2 itineraries. The one is the shortest one, and then the longest one is basically can add you to the White Cave, which is worth a visit. Or you might decide instead to visit one of the towns nearby, like Loco Rotondo, Martina Franca, or maybe Monopoli. We stay for these 2 nights in an authentic Trullo house. These iconic houses have been built in ancient time as rural homes or storage spaces, then being restored and converted into charming boutique hotels, offering guests a unique and authentic stay. Their thick limestone walls and conical roof keep the interior naturally cool in the summer and warm in winter. It is basically a rustic charm with modern comfort, because while retaining their historic appeal, the Trullo hotels offer modern amenities such as air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and luxurious bathroom. We will leave the Trulli and head to the Masseria Ipogeo. Here we will visit an underground olive oil pressing dating back to the medieval time. Otranto will be our next stop. It is one of the most beautiful coastal towns that we have in Puglia, not only for its castle on the Lungomare, which is the seaside promenade, but also for the amazing tree of life mosaic floor of its cathedral. If you wish, take a chance of a coastal walk to the old bauxite quarry lake or have a bath in the clear water of the Adriatic Sea. We will then travel to Lecce, where we will spend the next 2 nights, which will make the perfect place to hand out our trip in Puglia. A guided walking tour is perfect to explore this elegant city, which is called the Florence of the South. And this is because it is rich in monuments, churches, palaces, museums, all in Baroque style. We'll have free time to visit museum or even relax in a cafe, drinking Primitivo red wine, which is this area is famous for, or even try a pasticciotto, which is the typical sweet pastry in Lecce, filled with cream, which can be tasted in different flavors. My favorite one is the pistachio one, pistachio cream one, but even a classic one is delicious. Trust me, you won't regret it. We'll end our tour here after breakfast, and there is an option to take the train to Bari Airport, unless you decide to stay a few more nights here in Lecce. We have graded this tour as moderate. This means a busy itinerary balanced with plenty of downtown to explore at your own pace. We will be using public train to get to and from the airport, so please don't overload yourself, as you will need to carry your own luggage on and off the trains. So maybe you can save a bit of space to bring some taralli for the journey back home. It gets incredibly hot in Italy during the summer, especially in Puglia. I recommend packing light layers and sun protection and carry water at all times. A quick tip for me, a light wind proof jacket, it will be perfect. Just because like if you are willing to have a walk on the seaside, during the nights get a bit chilly. So a light windproof jacket is ideal for this kind of situation. If you don't deal well with the heat, book onto a shoulder season departure. In fact, the trip operates in spring from April till June, is stopped for a couple of months to then restart from September through the end of October. I love my homeland so much and I miss it every day. I hope that Puglia is now in your travel bucket list, and I hope that you will decide to visit soon, and hopefully when you will come back you will bring with you a piece of it in your heart and not only literally. This is it from me, and I'm heading over to Anna, who is going to talk to you about Sicily next.
Hi everyone, I am so excited to be talking to you about Sicily today. I was actually just there 2 weeks ago, so it's really wonderful to be reliving it with you today. So the classical Sicily tour is, in my humble opinion, the absolute best way to explore Sicily because it covers pretty much the whole island. Now, it is a full on tour. For the first few days, you move on each night. And whilst none of the drives in the itinerary are especially long, you are covering a lot of ground. You can see from this map just how much we're going to see in a week. Every day is packed full of incredible sights, smells, tastes, and it honestly feels like you're rounding every corner to another archaeological wonder. All of the country's highlights are included. Doric temples at Agrigento, there's beautiful churches and narrow streets of Arice, and the most over the top mosaic floors at the Villa Romana. So, if you're even the slightest bit interested in history, then Sicily is an absolute must for you. Now, I really expected to be wowed by the big sights, and I was not disappointed. It's really hard to convey the scale of these sites in a photo. On the left of this image is the Temple of Concord at Agrigento, and we weren't even as tall as the steps leading up to the temple. And the Greek theatre on the right of the picture is at Taormina, overlooking the coastline. I mean, this must have been so spectacular in its heyday. It's such a dramatic setting. It looks down over the east coast, and from certain points, you can see Etna in the backdrop. It's beautiful. One of the things that I really loved during the trip was we had local guides at each site. And this was invaluable because they brought it to life for us, patiently explaining who built the site, who came and tried to destroy it, or who came and tweaked it to try and add their own style to it. And of course, they talked us through how major earthquakes have damaged sites over the years. Their knowledge was encyclopedic. And it's actually the little nuggets that stick with me, like the Doric temple at Segesta, which is on the left of this picture. It was either built by the Elemians, the local community in that part of Sicily, or by the Greeks, depending on which perspective you prefer. But it was actually abandoned before it was completed. They were just like, oh, we'll stop this, we'll build something else. So when the Carthaginians arrived and destroyed so many other sites in the area because they wanted to build their own things, they ignored Segesta and just assumed it wasn't of any importance, which means today we're left with this ancient structure in such perfect condition. It's really, really rare, and you wander through it. It's a brilliant experience. Now, these big sites have the wow factor. However, for me, there were some really unexpected highlights on the trip. And honestly, these are usually my favorite bits. There were mosaics on a scale I had never seen before, including this incredible Jesus and the Saints. This is at the Monreale Cathedral, just outside of Palermo. And then an entire floor depicting animals from around the globe at Villa Romana. And this is showcasing the owner's wealth and power and status. And the level of detail, the skill at getting the scale and perspective right of these works that are 3D and on the wall is just mind blowing. Never seen anything like it. Now, despite being a full on trip, there are pockets of downtime, and these are perfect for reflecting on what you've seen during the week. For me, my favourite spot on the island was Cefalù on the northern coast. The town is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a beautiful cathedral, tiny cobbled streets, and it's topped off with this expanse of pristine beach, which I walked the length of, making the most of the glorious weather we had that day. I also had my cutest coffee of the trip here, And whilst the picture in the bottom right might look like a bit of a hot mess, this was absolutely incredible. So throughout the week, our tour leader, Fabio, had been sharing his favourite things to eat, letting us know what the specialities of each town was, and letting us know what we should try. And in the north of the country, the correct way and the best way to eat gelato is in a brioche bun. So this is a sweet brioche bun with a touch of cinnamon, stuffed with pistachio and chocolate ice cream. And honestly, it was divine. My mouth is watering just thinking about this snack right now. So my top tip for Sicily is actually take stretchy clothing because it is a foodie's paradise. um, if you're really into photography, then Taormina is the place for you. I promise you, you could stand anywhere in this tiny hillside town and take a beautiful photo. It's set on the hillside above Giardini Naxos, and we spent the afternoon wandering round. There's the Greek theatre that I showed you before. We popped into various coffee shops for our double espresso fix, which we were quite addicted to by this point. And we spent a lot of time marveling at how the Sicilians make their balconies look so gorgeous. Now, it's not every day you're actually up close and personal with an active volcano. And Etna is active. According to the locals, you can see steam most days. And in February this year, she was actually erupting. So I was really excited for this day. And there are multiple options. So you can actually do what suits you best. To start off, everyone heads up to Refugio Sapienza. So this is 1900 meters and it's on the south side of Etna. You can hang out here if you like. There are some great short walks. You can see the Sapienza craters, and there's obviously great views up to the volcano and wonderful views down to the ocean. It's a really great spot to just chill out with a coffee, soak up for the views. If you want to go a bit higher, then there's a cable car running from this point up to 2,500 meters. The cabins take 6 people, so with a full group, we might split between a few cabins. And the views as you're going up are obviously spectacular. And you can do some short walks from this higher point, or you can just grab a coffee and soak up the view. And if you want to go even higher, it's possible to take a 4-wheel drive vehicle from this point up to 3,000 meters. You don't go quite to the summit, but you are pretty close. And at that point, you join a guided walk, which is about an hour long. Now, this is a volcano, so you need to be prepared for rough ground underfoot. You definitely need closed-toed walking shoes for this day, and it's really windy and cold. Even at 1900 meters, the temperature is quite chilly compared to sea level, so come prepared with layers. It is possible, though, to hire walking boots and a quilted jacket for around €5 each if you prefer not to take those really big bulky items with you just for one day. Now, this might be a great time to chat about when to go. Now, I went in March, right at the start of the month, and this is me at Refugio Sapienza. So the arrow is where I think Mount Etna is. Now, it was right at the start of the month, and we actually had wonderful weather during the week, but this is very early season, so that weather isn't guaranteed. Typically, the peak season for Sicily is from April through to September, and temperatures can reach 40 degrees centigrade in the summer, 104 Fahrenheit. It gets pretty hot down here. We do take that into account in the summer months, and we start the days early. We go at a comfortable pace, and we also encourage you to have lots of gelatos to cool down and really just sort of embrace the local cuisine. But back to March, we had a snowstorm on our Etna day. It's actually worth noting that there can be snow on Etna even in June. When it's so hot down at sea level, you can still have snow on the volcano. So you always need to be prepared with those layers. For us, the snow was brilliant. We laughed so much. We made some snow angels. And when we got too cold, we went to the cafe and had really delicious, thick hot chocolates to warm up. And as a group, we've all agreed we've got to go back together now. So that's quite the result, I think. I've got another trip planned already. So I really love food, everyone. I just really love food. And I expected Sicily to be heaven for me, and it was. If you love pasta, Sicily will look after you. Each region has their own speciality. My favourite was bucciata from Trapani. It was really thick and twisty, so really good at holding all the delicious sauces on. So expect lots of tasty dishes with seafood, lots with pistachio, which is absolutely delicious. And you can get it everywhere, and you should just eat it every single day of the trip. And it's worth noting the portions are very generous. Again, stretchy clothing. If you love seafood, then you will be in heaven. The fried seafood pot with a beer, you can see, is my first day's lunch on Ortigia Island. And it was so good, I definitely will be going back there and eating exactly the same meal. Snacky bits were the mainstay of our lunches. Arancini balls were a favourite with us. They are delicious rice balls filled with rich meat ragu or cheese, sometimes even sweet variations. My favourite, of course, was the one in the bottom middle, which is an Etna-shaped arancini. It had in giardini Naxos. Not just for the shape, but this was the tastiest one I had during the trip. I still think about it now. Now, if you have a sweet tooth, then get ready to be really, 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 really happy. Sicily does sweet treats so well, and we stopped every morning and most afternoons for a little something. Often just a tiny bite, so not too filling, but really, really tasty. From flat little lemon cakes and marzipan bites that we tried in Erice to the creamiest gelato I've ever eaten. Pistachio and chocolate is the classic combination. And whilst I tried others, lots of others, I actually couldn't beat it. And then there's cannolo. So before I went, I knew these as cannoli, but it turns out that that is the plural, which actually was applicable on a couple of occasions because you can't just have one. They're really tasty. One thing that surprised me was how easy it was for people in the group that had dietary needs. Pleasant surprise. We had one traveller who needed a gluten-free diet, and I must admit I was a bit worried when we got there. I thought it was going to be a challenge, but it wasn't at all. There was gluten-free pasta, he had gluten-free pizza, plenty of options at breakfast, and also everywhere we went really got the importance of catering for different diets. So if that's you, then just reach out to us before you travel so we can let your tour leader know and also the hotels know so we know that you can go away and enjoy all the wonderful foods and not miss out on a thing. Now, I couldn't tell my Sicily story without talking about our tour leader. Fabio is a local. He's born in Trapani, he lives in Catania, and what he doesn't know about Sicily isn't worth knowing. He told us all of the big things, but even more importantly, he told us all of the tiny things. How the locals customize their granita orders to get the perfect mix of chocolate and nuts, or how getting up half an hour earlier would mean we had the streets of Erice to ourselves. His joy for sharing the island with us just made the trip, and it really helped to see Sicily through a local's eyes. So, to wrap up, if Sicily has been on your list, then do it. I'm already planning to go back. It was just such a wonderful destination. It's got everything you want to see in those big sites you've heard of, and then little tiny bits that you just didn't even know about and you didn't know that you needed to see. So, thank you for letting me relive it with you today. And for now, I will hand you back to Caitlin.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Fabrizia. It's been so cool to see how very different all the regions are, despite all being within one country. And Hannah, I'm very, very happy that you took a moment to give an extra shout out to your leader. I think that is one of my absolute favorite parts about our trips. I was lucky enough to do our cycle Marseille to Barcelona trip at the end of last year. And I still think about my leaders every single day. They are the best people I've ever met. And they just take our trips to the next level. I am ready for another trip now. And if you also can't wait to start planning your trip, we would love to talk to you all about all of our tours. So please get in touch with us or your preferred travel advisor, and let's all get out there. And while we're out there, let's take advantage of spending a little extra time in Europe. The world is big and flights can be very long. So if you're going all the way over there and have some additional time to spare, we think that combining tours is a great option to make the most of your trip. To make things even easier for you, we've put together a list of our favorite European tour combinations. So as you can see here, these are just a couple of the tours that can be combined or date matched. Any choice is really the right choice, but I wanted to highlight a couple of my personal favorites, which are the most right choice. Just kidding, truly any choice is the right choice. So Venice to Rome by rail, followed by Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast, very relevant to what we're talking about today, and is a really great way to see so much of the country and also combine a little bit of rail travel. And if you're anything like me, I get very excited to travel and experience the wider range of train options and much faster train options than I'm used to here in North America. So it's a really cool one, I think. And then highlights of Portugal is a really excellent journey across mainland Portugal with wine tastings, UNESCO sites, Lisbon, Porto, the list goes on and on. And then you can combine that with a little island time in Madeira, which is a pretty awesome trip, if you ask me. And then I wanted to give, everyone that knows me is going to laugh at me for this one, but I wanted to give an extra little shout out to cycling trips. They can be a little bit intimidating if you've never done one before, but they are such a cool way to travel. And thanks to e-bikes, if you want a little extra boost or just want to know that you have that option there, it can help with confidence a little bit. Anyone can do a cycling trip, and France is an especially great place to do them because the cycling trails are so smooth. It's like the safest place that I've ever cycled. So highly recommend. And then if you're looking for some more travel inspiration for your next trip, or if you just love a good book in general, take a look at our book club. It brings together our travelers' favorite travel fiction all in one place. So please feel free to join us and upload your recent literary finds or browse others' recommendations ahead of your next adventure. So we've still got a little bit more in store for you. We're coming close to the end of our adventures, but there's a little bit more. During the presentation, there have been lots of questions coming in and the team have been busy answering them, but we have saved a few of those questions to talk about now. So, and then after, the most exciting part, somebody's going to be selected to win a prize. So definitely stay tuned for that. But for right now, let's welcome back all of our friends so we can answer some of those questions that you have been asking. Hello, welcome back. So first, I've got a question for everybody, but we will go through one by one. So what is the best thing that you ate during your trip to Italy? And we'll do that one first, actually. Hannah, you are first on my screen.
Oh my goodness, I ate so many good things there. I mean, I could probably I could probably pick every snack I ate. I would say one of my favorite things that I had were the arancini balls. They are so simple, and when you have them, you're like, oh, it's a rice ball, and it's got this stuff in it, and you think that's quite simple, but oh my goodness, it's just delicious, and they're the perfect meal. You can just eat them as you're pottering around. My first one I had on Ortigia Island on the first day, and I just stopped at a little stall. It was €3. It was so tiny and unassuming, and it was one of the most delicious things I tasted in a long time. So, yeah, arancini balls. And if it was sweet, the chocolate and pistachio gelato there's nothing better.
So good. That is almost exactly what I ate every single day when I was in Sicily a couple of years ago. Awesome. Fabrizia, over to you.
Well, my favorite one is the panzerotto, to be honest. It's just like you go there and you see the menu and you can have a simple one you can have with different fillings, literally. We can have one with pistachio, for example, and provolone. And you can have literally with so many flavor, and you go there and you don't know what to pick, and it's just like every time you can change the kind of panzerotto, just grab a beer and go and eat it on the sea. It's just like on a warm evening is the best thing ever, with the smell of the sea, especially in Bari, which is my hometown. It's just, this is where, like, the way people of my age spend even Saturday night with it's such kind of like a social life event that you go there, you pick a panzerotto, everyone has their own a beer, and then they just go there, and it's just like you can really experience that the way of living that I was talking before. So yeah, I would pick Panzerotto.
That sounds so good right now. It's dinner time here. I'm very hungry. Katie, let's talk about more food.
Yes. Yeah, for me, I think it would have to be the pizza that we actually had after the pizza making demonstration. I mean, Italian pizza cannot be beat. But for me, you know, I'm vegan, which I didn't mention during my presentation, but they did an incredible job of sort of adapting the pizza to make sure that I was able to taste all of it. And it was just, I mean, mouth-watering, the freshest ingredients. I mean, all of the food is grown locally, and you're tasting just the freshest tomatoes on top and tomato sauce, and the crust and everything, just having that straight out of that sort of wood-fired oven and onto the table was just, yeah, it tested my limits on how much I could eat, but I didn't regret a single calorie.
Love that. I think we are all having pizza tonight, probably. Um, okay, and then this one is also for everybody. Are the tours suitable for solo travelers, and does it cost extra to book a single room? Katie, we'll go backwards this time.
Perfect. Yes, definitely suitable for solo travelers. On both my trip in the Agriturismo, but also the group that was in the hotel at Risorgimento, there were solo travelers. I think more than 50% of my group was actually solo travelers. A lot of people opted to share a room with someone of the same gender, but there was also the option to pay a single supplement to get a room to yourself. So yeah, very, very accommodating for solos.
Thank you. Fabrizio?
Yeah, same. Absolutely, yes. If you are a solo traveler, you can still, as Katie said, you can decide to share the room with somebody. But if you would like to have the single room, the room by yourself, that's absolutely fine. Yes, there is the single supplement to pay because, of course, hotels for the single, there is the single supplement for the hotel. What the only thing that I would recommend that if you want a single room, to book that is far in advance, because most of the time they are the first one to go away. So that is my piece of advice. If you really, really want a solo like a single room, book it as soon as possible to not have any disappointment in it, because they are literally the first one. We have so many solo travelers that book with us and they are so happy, they meet new people. But yes, book it far in advance. My only piece of advice.
Awesome. That is great advice. Thank you. Pardon me. And then Hannah, I will throw over to you.
Yeah, same experience for me. My entire group, actually, there was 8 of us on my departure, and we were all solo travelers, and we'd all opted to book our own space. So a lot of the hotels that we use are fairly small hotels. So as Fabrizio says, it's really good if you want that, if you want your own space, which I always do. I'm a terrible sleeper, to book as early as you can. But yeah, solos, couples, groups of friends, it's perfect for that. And obviously, if you are traveling solo and you want to share, that's completely possible. But if you need your own space, also possible too.
Amazing. Thank you. Cool. This one is for Katie. Do you have any packing tips that you can share with us? I think we all noticed in your photos there's lots of hiking poles that people are using.
Yes, absolutely. And I would definitely recommend them. I know they can be tricky to pack on carry-on luggage, but if you've got a checked bag, you can definitely put them in your checked luggage. I really, really do recommend bringing them, just because, as I mentioned a lot in my presentation, there's a lot of kind of ascents and descents. Some of that's on stairs, which is a bit easier to navigate without poles, absolutely. But when you get into, you know, into Ferrier Valley and some of the and the Walk of the Gods, especially, you know, the terrain can be a little bit more rocky. So having those poles for balance can make a really big difference. Likewise on the hiking boots, you know, they're a bit bulky, and you won't have to wear them every day. Our leader was really great about letting us know when we could wear running shoes, just to give our, you know, your feet a break from the hiking boots. But they definitely are helpful, just because you don't want to roll an ankle. It can really impact your trip and your enjoyment. And I learned the hard way. You know, I thought Italy and Amalfi, it's all sundresses and, you know, light, it's going to be warm and sunny and wonderful, which it very much was during the day. But our where we're staying at the Agriturismo in San Lazaro is quite a bit above sea level, so it got quite cool at night. So yeah, definitely layers is key. It's cool in the mornings as well, so you want to be able to kind of shed those layers as you go. And then yeah, just having a sweater or something warm to put on in the evening, I would very much recommend if you're, especially if you're traveling in the shoulder season.
Awesome, thank you. Fabrizia, what is the biggest surprise about Puglia that people might not know?
I would say the small towns. I know that like most of the time we concentrate in, main cities, and of course we cannot visit everything. But like when I was listing Locorotondo and Martina Franca and there was the other one, Monopoly. Those are all in the Valle d'Itria and all the surroundings. So the Valle d'Itria is basically kind of like a triangle that it is between Martina Franca, Alberobello, and Locorotondo. And from Locorotondo, you have, if you walk in the old city, there is kind of like a balcony that overlook on this old valley, and it's all full of trulli. So I know that like we are staying in Alberobello, but when I said if you want to visit the surrounding and have a look at Martina Franca, Locorotondo, or even going to Monopoly, those are a really big surprise, because even if they're a small town, they're literally little jewel that if you have the opportunity to visit in your free time, please do, because it is something that, I don't know, it cannot be described. There are such lovely places, and the good thing of Puglia is that every small town is unique. Alberobello is not big. It's very, very small, but still, Alberobello is now known all over the world because it's so particular. So yeah, try to enjoy the free time that you have and keep visiting, because Puglia has so much to offer, and I would really, really recommend to spend a few nights in Lecce and a few nights in Bari, because those are two lovely cities that have a lot to offer as well.
Amazing. I'm sold. I'm ready to go. Let's all. Cool. And then we've got one last question. This one is for Hannah. How much walking is involved in Sicily, and how fit do you need to be?
I would call it sightseeing style walking. So actually we don't cover great distances per day. You're walking through the towns and the cities and through the archaeological sites. But it's at a really sort of gentle pace, because you are really taking it in and learning that history as you go. Most sites we were at for maybe an hour and a half to 2.5 hours maximum. And so you want to be comfortable being on your feet for that length of time. Rather than fitness, I would say the biggest thing is to be comfortable and stable on your feet. You're walking over quite rocky ground sometimes, so comfortable shoes. And as Katie mentioned, your tour leader is brilliant for saying, wear your running shoes tomorrow, don't wear your flip-flops, just so you know you've got the right equipment. So you don't need to be crazy fit, just comfortable to walk around for a few hours, and just soak up those great sights.
Amazing. Thank you. So that's it for the live Q&A, but the team is still very busy answering any of the questions that you're popping in there. So please keep asking questions and we'll keep answering them. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we'll be sharing some of the most frequently asked questions and answers with the event recording when we send that email out at the end of this week. And now on to the offers. I'm very excited to let you in on a little secret. So right around the corner, we'll be launching a special Europe getaway sale. If you're planning a Europe trip, then early April is going to be a very ideal time for you to lock that in. And you'll have until April 10th to save on that. And then it's the prize draw, everybody. I am very excited to announce that Colleen Beamish is the winner of our draw. And so Colleen, you will be winning a very wonderful Italian themed gift basket, so you can have your own little slice of Italy at home. Yeah, congrats, Colleen. Amazing. Well, that's it, everybody. We did it. We made it all the way through Italy. I wanted to say a very big thank you to my colleagues, both on the screen and also behind the scenes, doing all of the tech things to make this happen. And thanks to everybody who's here live with us. It's been really nice to see all of the chats going on, all of the questions, and it's been really nice going on this adventure together. So please keep an eye out for that email in the next few days with the recording and a short feedback survey. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and we'll see you in the next one.